Welcome everyone. That is not a piping hot, caffeinated beverage, Bart. But hopefully a little bit later, I will procure one. Adam the Woo here as the recording of this January 31st, 2022. A cool and crisp and beautiful, non-windy, not a lot of wind chill, 32, 33, possibly 34 degrees, Winston-Salem morning. And I am heading down the way a bit. In town is a retro 1980s vibe Airbnb, a place you can stay overnight, and if you have the ability to stay there, there's also a full-size arcade, the stand-up arcades attached. 80s goodness. Now, I will not be staying there overnight, but I am going to get a tour. I'm going to be shown around. Pretty excited about this. You know, I love the 80s. I love retro. I love the full-size arcades. Of course, NES as well. I don't really know a lot about it, but it looks pretty awesome from what I have seen on the web. Getting over there, I'm inviting you to join me. Shall you? All right, on the welcome mat here says hello. All right, take me in, Scott. All right. Scott will be giving the tour. Oh, wow. Okay, I'm already... Hey, you have a few games in here. Just a couple. Oh my gosh, you have Punch-Out. How many games total do you have?
125.
I honestly was expecting about a dozen games, not 100 or so games. This is overwhelming. Wow. Satan's Hollow? Is that what that says? Yeah. Satan's Hollow? Yeah. So this is Scott. You're hiding there in the shadows. So tell me a little bit about what you do, how long you've been doing it, why you do it, things like that.
I've been collecting and restoring for 26 years. And about 8 years ago, my wife and I decided to let people come in one Saturday a month and relive their youth. It's called Wieners and Losers.
Wieners and like a hot dog wiener?
Yeah.
Hot dog wieners and losers.
Yeah. And the website is longlivetheeighties.com.
Okay.
You can check it out there.
Now, do you have to stay in the Airbnb to play the video games, or
No. So one Saturday a month we let people come in and do that. The Airbnb is separate. We do private parties too.
Okay.
So, no, you do not have to stay in the Airbnb to come and relive your youth.
And you're only open on Saturdays?
One Saturday a month.
One Saturday a month, so 1 day a month.
Yeah, 1 day a month.
Okay.
That's kind of on my work schedule will permit.
Just whenever you have the availability to do it?
Yeah.
Oh, I remember these from the old Pizza Huts.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Money goes toward restoration projects I'm working on, and those games will end up here for people to come relive their youth.
Okay, sure. In '85, I got my first Nintendo for Christmas.
Oh, yeah.
And I played that religiously.
Oh, yeah.
But arcades, you know, I didn't really have a lot of money growing up, so I didn't even have quarters. I would go down to the local convenience store. They had an Altered Beast machine.
Yeah.
And I didn't even have quarters to put in the machine. So basically what I would do, I would just watch the screen and say, one day I'm going to get a quarter and be able to play Altered Beast. And you got the Spy Hunter. I do remember Spy Hunter. I remember playing this. And Punch-Out, of course, was for NES. Except for Punch-Out, they added Mike Tyson into it. Now over here is where you have the little hot dog stand.
Right.
I see a flux capacitor over there.
Oh, yeah.
A jukebox here, a Rockola jukebox.
Oh, yeah. All the records are from 80 to 84.
So you're going deep. You got the Corey Hart Sunglasses at Night on there. Arcade Animal, I like that. Is this Qbert?
It is.
That's Qbert there. And Donkey Kong. You got the cowbell here. Wow. So this has been a lengthy work in progress for you for sure, collecting all this stuff.
It has been.
How many years have you been collecting all this?
26. Well,
26 years.
Arcade games, 26 years, but this stuff. And before that, I collected consoles. So really, I mean, since the 80s, I've been collecting things.
I love it.
So I'm just an 80s kid. and I was seduced by this stuff when I was a kid, and I love it. And
you could totally see a scene from Stranger Things being filmed in here.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, Mr. T's right up here. Look at that. Wow, everywhere I turn, there's just stuff everywhere. And you even where did you salvage these?
These booths came from a Rose's cafeteria. Do you remember eating in a cafeteria in a Rose's department store? Some people do, some people don't.
I don't remember Rose's.
Okay, Rose's was a department store, and these booths came out of a Rose's department store when they closed one in Galax, Virginia, which is where my wife grew up.
So on the Saturday of every month, you always would have all the chips and hot dogs and things like that for sale?
Yeah, just a simple menu to keep people's stamina up.
People's stamina up. No carryouts after midnight. So what time are you open on that one day a week?
We'll have a group from 2 to 5 and another group from 6 to 9 on a Saturday. It's usually about 40 to 50 in each group.
Yeah, this is great. I was not expecting this place to be this expansive.
It's a disease.
Cloak and Dagger. What? I don't remember the game, but I love the movie.
Yeah, so, this game was sort of it was in the movie. It was derived from the movie. And they...
Henry Thomas from E.T., right?
Yeah. I met
him. And Dabney Coleman.
Right, yeah.
You met Henry Thomas. You tell him about your Cloak and Dagger machine?
I met him before I had it.
Okay.
We talked about E.T. He signed my E.T. Atari cartridge.
Oh yeah, wasn't the Atari games all the ones that were kind of in that hole in the ground somewhere?
Yeah, the E.T. cartridge.
The E.T. cartridges, right?
Yeah.
What was the story with that? Did they unbury them?
Somebody did, but I guess the story is that E.T. was mass produced, and it tanked so hard that they were just stuck with all these copies.
Right.
And they just didn't have anything to do with it.
They just buried them.
Took them to a landfill.
That is really cool. It kind of even looks like Dabney Coleman a little bit, or maybe he looks like the character, obviously. So was the movie produced before the game? Did they make the game for the movie?
I'm not 100% sure. They came out at the same time, from what I could tell, because Atari was going to release Cloak and Dagger for the Atari 5200 console system, and it never happened. They made a prototype, but they never released it.
Okay.
And I don't know why. I was told that Cloak and Dagger was shown at drive-ins behind The Last Starfighter. Do you remember?
Yeah.
And The Last Starfighter was a big hit.
That was the first movie to use CGI, from what I heard, was The Last Starfighter.
Maybe. And so Cloak and Dagger sort of rode its coattails at drive-ins, and it just didn't do it.
Yeah. Frisky Tom.
There are less than 10 of these in the world.
This game would never be made today.
Probably not. I don't know.
I don't know if there'd be a title called Frisky Tom in this day and age.
Well, the objective is you plug the pipes and fill this bathtub so the lady can take a bath. Now, this is the American version. In the Japanese version, the lady is topless.
Wow. Okay.
It will cut to a scene where she's taking a bath if you can
make it there. Yeah. So the objective is try to, instead of rescuing a princess like you would in a Nintendo game, you want to see her take a bath.
It's the first game banned for violence in 1976.
The first game banned for violence.
Yeah, so down here it says hit gremlins for points, but these gremlins look like people.
Even the restroom here, themed out with the old school 80s vibes. They call it a cocktail joust?
Yeah, because you sit down. They only made 500 of these.
Oh.
Where you sit down side by side and play. It was the only cocktail ever made where you sit down side by side and play.
So like the PacMan from Pizza Hut's.
Right.
It's similar to that, so they call that a cocktail style. Space Duel, Motor Race USA. So you said you got most of this stuff in the 90s?
Well, from 96 to 2006, nobody wanted this stuff. It was junk, and some of these were just given to me.
Really? People just gave them to you?
Oh, yeah.
Because at that time it wasn't, I don't want to say the word trendy, but it wasn't popular You know,
Right.
the 80s hadn't made a comeback yet like it has now.
That's right.
So this is a pretty good investment. You probably would never sell these.
No,
But if you did, you would probably make a profit on what you paid for some of them.
I would.
So on the Saturday, the one Saturday every month, like how much is it to get in?
$10.
$10. You
That
get
covers all your gaming. You just come in. You don't need quarters.
It's all free play.
Everything's on free play. So that's all you need.
Unless you want to buy a hot dog or a T-shirt.
Right.
That's it. And up here along the ridge of the fireplace, there's some board games and other accessories. I'm noticing over here is a Space Encounters stand-up. Look at that. Space and not Space Invaders.
Something up, and I'll show you what I mean.
Oh yeah.
Kicks the side of the cabinet.
Oh okay, yeah.
So different gimmicks.
Time Pilot. Look at this. Yeah, I just love this. This is a nice little view. You ever just come? I'm sure you come down here all the time by yourself. Do you just think like, look at what I have here. This is awesome. It's like you're kicking it back like 35 years.
Oh yeah. Feel the vintage.
So this is like your happy place. Yeah, Jungle Hunt. That reminds me of, was it Pitfall?
Yes.
Very similar to Pitfall. It's almost like the same kind of. I don't think Pitfall you ran uphill. They do an event in Florida every year called Free Play Florida.
Oh yeah, I've heard of that.
I have some friends that are part of that. And if one warp wasn't good enough, you got Warp. And I think it's neat is they're all running.
Right.
Sometimes you'll go to like an older arcade and only about a third of them are working.
Yeah.
But it looks as if every one of these, from what I've seen, are on.
They are. It's my goal to keep everything working.
All right, we're gonna go up past the snack bar, up these stairs. Past Superman, Spider-Man, PacMan, the Hulk. All right, going in. You even have the retro furniture in here. A couple couches. So you have these set up so 4 people can play the video games at once?
Yes, this is called Nerd Theater Seating.
Is that a specific name?
No, I jacked up this couch. That's just what I call it.
Just to put it up a little bit higher. Oh yeah. I see what you did. Wow. Got the Smurf over here, Smurfette, over in the fireplace. We got a Jedi 84 calendar. So this by itself is very impressive, but look at the room. So this is the accommodations. You could stay here in this room, and right down below are all those arcade games.
Right. So, and over here is every console ever made from the beginning to CD platforms, which you'll have access to if you stay at the Airbnb.
What? You have gone above and beyond with collecting all this stuff. So any of these you could just connect. You pull it off the shelf, connect to the TV.
Yes, they all work. And what you don't see, I do have downstairs. There's a few I couldn't fit on the wall, but that's most of them.
Yeah, so I played a lot of Atari, and then when Nintendo came out, when I got Nintendo in '85 for that Christmas, I was pretty obsessed with it. Still have one. It's not my original one, but I do have one in a few games. And how many people do you allow to stay here if they book a room?
4.
So up to 4 people.
Right.
And is it just a one night stay, or do you let people stay more than one night?
Oh, they can stay as many nights as they want. And so here, Adam, is your NES. Well, this is actually called a top.
So you have a VHS player?
Right, yeah, you can watch VHS movies or DVD movies.
Gosh.
Yeah.
So all the prices and everything are on the website as far as what you would charge and all that?
Yeah.
Does that fluctuate from the demand and certain times of the year, or is it just kind of across the board?
Across the board. It's just an 80s theme. That design was sort of a popular look, I guess, in the 80s. Because if you notice, it's the same design on that Back to the Future rug on the floor.
You know, I consider myself quite the aficionado of Back to the Future.
Yeah.
It's my all-time favorite movie without not even a close second. However, I have never seen this design.
Well,
I've never seen this design.
I haven't either. I think, somebody just created that.
Right. That's definitely like someone's artistic interpretation.
Yeah.
Yes. The opening sequence.
Yeah. In Doc's house.
Yeah. Right before the dog food, the opening the can of dog food, splotches into the bowl. Where did you find this?
Well, I bought that when I was 14-ish at Spencer's in the mall. And
that is awesome.
And that was probably like 84. That was before the movie came out.
Yeah.
So I probably bought that.
I don't even have that. I have a lot of Back to the Future stuff. I don't have that. That's awesome.
Well, I've never seen that clock ever, except for when I bought it and then I saw it in the movie. Only place I've ever seen that clock.
So how does that work with the downstairs? Is there like a certain time frame if you're staying here to have the downstairs accessible? And then after a certain time you got to stay up here in the room?
Well, this is your room where you stay, and as for the downstairs, you get a 3-hour block in the arcade when you stay at the Airbnb, and that's the same thing we do for private parties. Private parties are 3-hour blocks.
And then you have to come up here in the room and stay up here the rest of the night, which you have plenty of stuff to do up here.
Oh, yeah. Area works, and you can play vinyl. There's an 80s vinyl collection down there.
Oh, you even got the Fast Times. Nice. This is a passion project that you have taken to the next level, that is for sure.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think I've seen anything that really equals this as far as someone's like personal possession that they would let people rent out like this.
Well, it just seemed senseless to have all of this and not share it.
Yeah. Is there a pretty good community? Do you know others that do something similar to this?
I don't know anybody that does anything like this. So it's definitely unique.
And you even get your own little mini fridge here.
Right. You got your 1984 Sears catalog.
You can put your new Cokes in here.
Yeah.
If you could find them. I think Stranger Things brought some back out. I don't know if you can find them again, but they brought them out a couple years ago.
Or Crystal Pepsi.
Crystal Pepsi. Where's that noise coming from? Is that the clock?
It is the clock. I tell people just unplug the clock if it's too loud.
Oh, I would leave it on. Stunt cycle. Jump 32 buses in your living room. This is called the CompuVision. I'm not familiar with that one. Did that predate in television?
It did. That was just a handheld unit that you could plug into your TV and play Pong.
Oh, so it just had Pong on it. How to win at video games. Look at that. Wow,
That was false
Defender.
advertisement.
Because you can't read that and win. That didn't teach you how to win.
No, not me.
So that's almost like, does that predate Nintendo Power?
Yes.
All right, going back down the stairs. So from the Airbnb accommodations, just go right down these stairs. Do you ever just get a sleeping bag and come down here and just like lay amongst your creation? That's what I would do. I would just like sleep in my happy place.
Just here in the snack area, because we didn't want the music to be over the games.
Overshadow.
Yeah, people like to hear their game.
You know, that's funny because I've been to a bunch of like arcades, and that is the case in a lot of places. You cannot hear the games because they have the music cranked so loud, where you just have the ambiance of the games.
Right.
And that's a term I've never thought of, but barcades, where you can't really hear the games. All you hear is the top 40 music being pumped out. And you said quite a few people have come in here and made that comment that they like just hearing the games.
Oh yeah. They want to hear the games, which I want to hear the games too. This is a symphony.
Oh, Gorf. Look at that. Midway's Gorf. The Pit?
The Pit.
Yeah, this is another one I'm not familiar with. So you're like digging down to the pit?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is lit up really well. Everything through here is lit up really well.
There's nothing post 84.
Nothing past 84.
Right, in this arcade. Whether it's the music on the jukebox.
Is that your favorite year, 84? I'm gonna say 85 was mine. I first discovered Mountain Dew, Nintendo Entertainment System, and of course, Back to the Future 1985. 1985!
Hard to argue with that. The monitor is in the bottom, and there's a mirror inside that casts that onto this playfield.
Right.
To give it
Oh, so it's almost like a Pepper's Ghost effect almost. Kind of. Oh my gosh, I remember this now. It has probably been at least 25 years since I played this game. And this is Asteroids Deluxe.
Yeah, so that's sort of, I guess it's the sequel to Asteroids.
The Asteroids sequel.
Came out in 79, this came out in 80.
This is called Breakout. It was designed by the guy from Apple, you said?
Yeah, Steve Wozniak and Jobs.
It was the only one that they ever made, like only arcade game they ever made?
It is the only one they made for Atari.
This is the only one in the world that exists?
The only one that's been unearthed so far. Rockola Levers. Which is
Really?
made by Rockola. Rockola jumped into the video game creating scene in the 80s. You know, they made jukeboxes.
What year was Commando?
85.
So you don't have a Commando.
I don't.
I played that a lot.
I did too.
There was a secret, I think on the first stage, you could like hide behind a tree
Yeah.
and you could just accumulate points. Commando I played all the time because I saw this when I thought of Commando. I also remember playing Moon Patrol quite a bit. Yeah, it even says right there 82. Yeah, Moon Patrol, I remember this. See, a lot of these started to come back to me now.
Oh, yeah.
Now that I'm sitting there and I'm taking a little more time to kind of peruse all the different titles you have through here. Buck Rogers, Rally X. So some sort of correlation between Wreck-It Ralph and this. I'm not sure what that is, but
They just use different characters from games like Cubert and
clowns. This has got to be a. Is this a scary clown game or it's probably a happy clown game?
Pop the Balloons.
Okay.
And if you misfire here, or if you fail, you get this sound.
Very familiar with Burger Time.
Oh yeah.
Oh man. Yeah. Make your own hamburger. The first computer game ever made in the history of mankind.
The first video game, the first commercially available video game ever made in history. There's one in the Smithsonian. Computer space.
There's one in the Smithsonian,
A
really?
lot of people think Pong was the first,
It wasn't?
but it was not. This was the first, and then came Pong.
Where'd you find this?
Well, it was around Northern Virginia, but prior to that, the only time I've ever seen any for sale through 26 years was they were always on the West Coast. So I saw this one in Virginia, and I thought, man, you know, if I'm ever going to own one of these,
Yeah.
it's now or never. So I jumped in.
Yeah. Oh, gotcha.
The only tip I can give you is if when you fire, you can steer your bullet with the rotate buttons.
Yeah, it is very similar to Asteroids. You got the 3 fingers over here. That's really just the 3 fingers.
Right.
I love this game. I think this was my favorite Atari game with Missile Command.
I had a heart attack playing it
A guy had a heart attack playing Berserk.
and died. Yeah.
Is that what you're going? You're going in on Berserk?
You can leave the maze prematurely, but if you do, they call you a chicken.
They call you chicken?
You'll hear chicken fight like a robot.
Real? Don't get called the chicken then. Last thing you want to be do is called the chicken.
I'll try not to.
So the Berserk machine called the guy chicken so much that he had a heart attack, and that's a real fact. The humanoid must not escape. So you're the humanoid.
Right.
Intruder alert. There's a lot of robots coming after you there.
Yeah. I'll be a chicken this time.
Fight like a robot.
Look at that stance. That's a classic 80s stance right there.
What do they call this?
A stance.
They call this the stance? Now, track and field, I remember when I was a youth, I discovered a trick where I'd use a pencil. We're demonstrating with a pen, but I would use, instead of doing this, back and forth, I would do, see if I can remember this. This is a long jump though.
Oh yeah.
See how fast I can run? Look at this. Ooh! Look at that, all the way to 10. That's a foul. I went too far. But see how fast I was running?
Right,
With
yeah.
the pencil trick? But what I would do is, it would be a 2-player. You'd be going against someone else. You let them win the first couple, and then all of a sudden, out of the pocket, pull out the pencil trick. They would look over at you like, this guy's got a secret up his sleeve. Oh, this is the one from the movie, showing it from the movie.
Yeah, right.
Because you would see this gameplay in
Yeah,
the film.
yeah, right.
I've never played this, but I've seen the movie so many times.
Yeah.
Look at this.
This game's just less than 10 of them in the world.
Less than 10 challengers in the world.
Yeah.
And Pingo, so it's a penguin. And this is kind of like Aladdin.
Yeah.
Is that so? That's like a genie there.
Right. And if you collect all the little pots, if you can spell Arabian.
You gotta spell it out.
Yeah, if you spell it out, you get an extra man. You don't have to.
Sinistar. So you have to reserve a spot for those 1 day a month. How do they do? How does someone reserve a spot?
You'll go to the website, longlivetheeighties.com. There's a form you can fill out. Or you can contact us through our Facebook page. That's /Wieners and Losers. But just contact us, and we'll put you in rotation to receive periodic invites. And it's just that simple.
Bug. The stand, the power stand. Speeder bike. Whoa, is that me? That's me right there, right?
Yeah.
I'm on the speeder bike. Up. Oh, there come the scout troopers. Oh, get back, get away from me. I'm on the forest mood of indoor. Inside the mecca of 80s video games. Holy cow. I forgot how much I love this. And I'm noticing after just looking into this other room, just kind of gives you the vibes right here. This is an 8-bit version of you right here.
It is.
Gotta love the 8-bit. Long live 8-bit. I feel like I could spend an eternity in here and still not see everything that is through these aisles. Just so much. This is like a wealth of 80s retro goodness here. It's like sensory overload. Right? That's the best way to describe this. Sensory overload in every possible way. This is Alright, old school Star Wars here. Before, it wasn't even called New Hope then.
It's bass sound to it.
Yeah, it definitely has that low roar. Starcraft. I'm just constantly finding new ones. Here's a Zaxxon. I didn't notice this before, the Zaxxon. Alright, waiting for the next screen to be cleared off. Next level, we have some feathers. They're goblin. There they go. I've never seen anything like that before. The feathers just float around in there from the turkeys. Attack, scan. Oh. You're gonna play 2-player on this, or do it at the same time. You're teaming up.
Originally, this game, when they test marketed it, they had a camera up here.
Yeah.
And that camera would take your picture, and it would put your face on the character.
No kidding.
And that's what they were originally going to do. Well, when they test marketed it, they discovered people were dropping their pants.
Oh, they were doing the mooning?
Well,
the other aspect. Quix, Q-I-X, not like the drink mix, not the milk drink mix, Quix, but Q-I-X.
I'm terrible.
You're not good at Defender?
Oh, no.
This is another classic. How did PacMan?
A little bit.
A little bit of a PacMan vibe. It's a warlock. What's up? Came over. Alright, we're gonna look inside the Rockola machine here. You're gonna see how the inner workings go. So it's opening up, and it is vinyl. There's the LP, well, let's consider it LPs.
45.
45s, because they're the smaller versions. So you just press your title, and there you go, you're putting sticks on. Look at that. Playing all these arcade games takes a lot out of you. We're kind of sitting over here in the snack bar area. Yep, got your feet kicked up there. Kind of living the good life here in the snack bar. The 80s snack bar.
Always.
I just love that that runs off of vinyl. That is awesome. Wieners and Losers. That is your monthly event that you have here. And if you can't make it to the monthly event, you can book the Airbnb. Yeah, Nick Castle played Michael Myers. He directed not only Boy Who Can Fly, but also Last Starfighter. He played Michael Myers in the 70s Halloween. So if they're staying upstairs in the Airbnb, they want to choose any of these to take to play for Nintendo.
Right.
If someone asked, if they said, "Hey, do you have Ghostbusters?" You can come down here and get this.
Yeah, yeah.
I love NES. I recently found Legendary Wings. It's like one of my favorites. I recently found that, so I have a copy of that.
That's cool. Yeah. And so this is just boxes for
Television.
different systems. There's your power pad.
Oh yeah. Do you have the Power Glove?
I don't have the glove, no.
The Power Glove is great. Did you ever see The Wizard? Fred
Yes.
Savage movie?
Yeah, yeah.
Basically a commercial for Nintendo.
Yeah.
That's a treasure trove down there of just controllers. Got a Super NES down here. Even got a Raiders of the Lost Ark Atari cartridge there.
Yeah.
Kaboom. Look at that. Oh, there it is, the power pad. Right there.
Yeah.
That's how I used to get a workout right there on the power pad. Love it. See, even just this would be impressive to me. Not including everything else you showed me.
Yeah. So that's all Atari 2600. NES, there's more NES back here. That is Atari 5200.
5200. You got Genesis back here.
Yeah, Genesis back there. Yeah, just all sorts of Genesis, Sega stuff. I don't know. It goes on and on.
Night Stalker. Yeah, there's Gorf there. Smurf. So you've just always been into video games since you were young.
Yeah. So when I got my license, my brother and I started going to flea markets and buying this stuff up because we didn't have much money growing up, and we wanted to experience every console ever made.
Oh, Legendary Wings is right there. You got a copy. That's one of my favorite games.
That's it.
Nice. You were saying this is the first video game you ever played in your life?
First video game I ever played in my life, summer of 1980 at the beach. I was probably this tall, I could barely see the screen, but I do remember it. So years later, when I finally found it, that was a big deal for me.
What's the name of it?
Space Zap.
Space Zap. Space Zap. It's almost like lightning.
And that's going to do it for today. I'll see you in the next video. The vlog is over.